Hey guys, and welcome back to another video. If you guys think right now like iTzu finally lost his mind with like trying an army composition like this, well, maybe it happened, maybe not. Before we starting off the video, actually, I have to give a huge shout out to Lando Gaming, who is a YouTuber as well. You have to check him out as well. Description to his YouTube channel is down below in the comment section, because I think he was the guy who actually came up with this strategy and is already putting up a couple of videos on his channel. But this is the first time for me trying this out, and I rarely see it anywhere else, and this is why this strategy is completely new on my channel. So let's try to figure it out on how you guys can try this on your own. But before we're jumping into the video, first little reminder: if you guys played Rush Wars from Supercell and put actually money into the game, you guys could or can now transfer those gems into other Supercell games, because Supercell is shutting down Rush Wars, which means the money would be wasted, but they're allowing players to pretty much transfer their money which they put into the game into their other games. And this is how I got a couple of more gems to prepare for Townhall 13 if it's coming out this December. But now finally get into the first attack. Okay, let's check out first, before we're actually checking out the base, the army composition. And that's something special, because let's pause right now, because normally you try to have it as cheap funnel as possible, because the goal what you're going for in a combination with Hawk Riders and Miners is around about like 16 Hawks, 16 Miners, 17, 17, something like that. But on this one we have only 13 Miners. That's not too little, but at the same time that's not too many either. The problem is that we are having to use a P.E.K.K.A. Normally you try to avoid using those heavy hitters on funneling, but you will see in a second why I used it. And after that, the big downside of the strategy is that you cannot really use your your king for funneling the queen. This is why we need a P.E.K.K.A. on this one. The P.E.K.K.A. is needed because we have to tank for our ram. The ram is supposed to get all the 4 layers so my queen can reach the town hall and clear most of those buildings out, which means this is what I go for my queen. Like, this entire part of the base should be gone. After that we can get rid of the upper side with our king, and now you guys see the base is getting really slim. Now we can immediately start to drop our miners and hawk riders onto the eagle, and because we have hawks and miners, this means the enemy queen is getting shut down really quickly. And I think the biggest benefit of this strategy is actually the fact that no one is placing traps against this. Huge problem for miners or hawk riders in general is that you can predict them kind of easy. Like, for example, for miners, or more for like hawk riders, you're going for both heroes. That's like the classic thing. Both of the heroes are at the bottom side, which means round about here, which means most of the players will probably charge in somewhere around there, which means we will try to dodge most of those spring traps, because everything around the queen means there are not too many spring traps normally. And this is the reason why the strategy is actually pretty good. So what we're doing, we're sending everything in just like really spammy. As soon as the enemy queen is coming closer, warden ability and the rage to get rid of the enemy queen, because we're using the miners to kill the enemy queen. Now the first heals, but everything is looking really good, even though it's like a huge chaos. And I think that's the next thing you guys have to learn if you want to master this strategy, because it's getting really chaotic. Like, it's really hard to spot where to place the heal spells, because miners are already really like hard to spot where they are. But if you have hawk riders running around as well, that's even harder to spot where are your miners, where are your hawk riders, where are the biggest groups of troops together. So it's kind of tricky to spot, but if you're like trying to learn it, you will get it eventually. But that's maybe the first thing you should try to look at if you want to master this strategy. In the end, we still have the queen ability left, we still have a free spell left, which I'm swagging like a master in a second because I can't hit anything. Nicely placed iTzu, nicely placed free spell. But well, this is going to be the first triple. We have a couple of more to go, and I will try to explain why this strategy is getting used and when you guys should use it. You guys like my content, you guys like my videos? Well, there's an easy way to help me, and you can go in this really new settings menu with upgrading or like downloading the optional update. And then in the below, like right side, there's more settings, and you can scroll down and see there's a creator boost. You can send or put in there the creator code iTzu if you want to support me. If you're purchasing anything in the game, I will get a small part of that without for you guys having any disadvantage. So if you guys want to support me, feel free to do so. And well, thank you so much. Okay, but now back to the question, when should you guys actually use this strategy? And when it's better than like Queen Charge Hog Riders, when it's better than Queen Charge Miners, why should you use it? I think in general, I feel like as soon as you're getting the enemy queen out of the way, you always should go for Hog Riders. I feel like that's the best army of those three classes, like the Queen Charge Hog, Queen Charge Miner, and Queen Charge Hybrid, which I'm showing right now. I think the Queen Charge Hog is the strongest, and I feel like the Queen Charge Miner at the same point are the weakest, and this is why Queen Charge Hybrid is actually, in my opinion, stronger than Queen Charge Miner, and it's kind of like a replacement of this, because Hog Riders are stronger, making sure that the entire pack of troops with Miners and Hog Riders are going through the base faster. You have to actually be really careful with the composition, which means if you see, okay, there are mainly defenses in there, you can go a little bit heavier on the Hog Rider part. If you see there are a lot of storages in the way, like for example, if there would be the enemy clan castle, if there would be a storage over here, storage over there, like you have a lot of storages in the way, then you should go a little bit heavier on the Miner part. You want to have the troops pretty much go through the base as a big group, and that's the main goal. Because as soon as they are splitting, let's say there are a lot of storages, which means your miners are getting like really delayed, and you have a lot of Hog Riders in your hybrid mix, then it's getting really difficult to place your heal spells, because the Hog Riders are somewhere in the front and the miners are really far back. It's really hard to place those spells. So you guys can see it right now. Those troops are walking through the base perfectly on one line, even though it's two different troops. And this is pretty much the goal of this strategy. You want to have those troops getting through the base together, and you have the biggest benefit of the heal spells. The reason why Hog Riders mixing those in is better, because it feels like they're having more damage than the miners, which means the miners are going through the base actually faster, which means it's just some upgraded mass, or not a mass, but upgraded Queen Charge Miner option. But like I said, if you have the enemy queen and you can take her out, that's a way better solution most of the time with going for the Queen Charge Hog Riders. But still, it's pretty nice, especially because you do not really have to go for anything specific. On this one, for example, you saw I only went for pathing. Like, this was the only thing what I got. I got the Townhall, which is nice to have, and I got an Inferno Tower, and that's basically it. I did not got the Eagle, which is normally one of the most important defenses, and I still can swag a freaking heal spell. That's crazy to me, and it shows how actually strong this strategy is, and it's super surprising that not that many players are using it. But I have to admit, the first time I heard about it, it made no sense to me. Like, why would someone use that? But trying it out on my own the first time, and in one of those wars it was the first time, I was like, not like I practiced it or anything. It was like, no, maybe that could work, let's try it. And it was immediately triple, so it's crazy strong, and I would say let's try it out on anti-2-star bases, because so far we tripled 2 anti-3-star bases, but let's check out what happens if we use the Queen Walk Hybrid on an anti-2-star base. Okay, here we got the anti-2-star base. I know the Wizard Towers are not maxed, but except the Wizard Towers, we have a nearly maxed out base. So what is the goal basically? And once again, it is really tricky. You have to be pretty much really good at funneling, because you do not have the king for your queen walk, because, well, you need the king later for funneling your miners. And that's, like I said, the basic biggest downside of this strategy, which has the same downside as the Queen Charge Miners. You need your king for the pathing of your second phase. And this is the big benefit of having a Queen Charge Hog Rider or Queen Charge Lalo attack on the other hand, because you can use the king for funneling, for tanking for your enemy queen. You can use your king really creative, and this is not possible with this strategy. But still, we try to somehow pull it off. And we have the queen going onto the enemy wizard tower. We have a jump spare in this army composition. It's totally up to you. Sometimes you need the jump, sometimes it's not needed. But, well, so far so good. Enemy inferno towers taken out. And the goal is basically to get rid of something like a V shape. Like, you want to get rid of a part of the cake, of the entire base, which means you have nice pathing for your miners and Hawk Riders later. Now, the king on the other side, like I said, for funneling purposes. And now, here we go with the miners. You see, I'm delaying the Hawk Riders because we have only 1, 2, 3, 4 defenses over here and a lot of more trash buildings. Like, I will do this in a different color. Like more trash buildings, which only the miners can target. Which means the Hawk Riders will take it a bit longer to actually, or like will faster go through the defenses, and the miners will fall back. Which, like I said, should be not, like, that's not the goal. Like, that's the opposite of the goal you want to achieve with this strategy. So this is why I delay the Hawk Riders a little bit and send in the miners first, and they get rid of most of the non-defense buildings before the Hawk Riders even touch the first defenses. And now the first heal spell, you guys see, I could have even delayed the Hawk Riders a little bit longer, but now the miners finally caught up. Nice thing, the enemy heroes do not really matter anymore, and this is a huge benefit in my opinion, because this makes sure that everyone who's placing traps against a specific entry with only Queen Charge Hawk Riders, those spring traps are pretty much wasted most of the time, because you're coming in from angles which no one is expecting. So this is why this strategy is that strong, and at the same time I hope I was able to show you guys how you can execute this strategy and what you're having to look out for when you're trying to execute it. And I have to admit it, the first time I heard about it, I was like, what the heck is this strategy? I was using Queen Charge Miners, I was using Queen Charge Hawk Riders a lot. You guys know me, I love those strategies, but I was like, this makes no sense. Then I asked Lando Gaming, what is his opinion on that, and why is he using this strategy? And even after he tried to explain to me, it made no sense to me. And then when I the first time tried it out on my own, it worked really well, and was like, keep trying it, and it somehow worked still really well. And I still don't really know why, but somehow it does. So try it out on your own. If you think I'm trolling, whatever, I could understand you, but like I said, try it out on your own. If you don't want to do it in War the first time or in Legend League, try it out in friendly challenges, that's still possible. But guys, try it out if you love those ground attacks. And that's from me. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Like I said, check out Lando's YouTube channel as well if you want to have some more hybrid attacks. And until then, see you guys and bye bye.